All right, we are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. We're having fun this morning. As I said, we've got some great guests. Burns Phillips, he's the Commissioner of Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development, sitting next to me here. And Deniece Thomas, Workforce Services Assistant Administrator. Thanks for coming on and talking about the unemployment rate, which is at historic lows.
Yes.
And that's good news for the entire state. And we can take some phone calls from you if you have questions about your job or what the marketplace is like and where to look and the like. Let's go to Mark. Mark, good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Hey, Mark, what's on your mind?
I have a question. If you work on a holiday, does that company have to pay you time and a half?
Whether or not companies, some companies pay time and a half. They pay double time. Any idea on that, on policies for companies and what
if you work holidays, it's a policy that you get paid. And I think it's time and a half.
Okay, and some offer more than that,
but that's up to the company, of course.
Okay, so and here, and by the way, is the rule still when it comes to offering benefits, you have to work at least 40 hours a week? Is it 32 hours now in some places? I was just wondering, because you hear about how a lot of employers sometimes can say, well, we just want you to work this certain amount just underneath the threshold, so they don't have to offer benefits. Did I stump you?
You did. It's 30. It's not 40 hours.
So it's 32 in some. 32.
It's 32, but there's some caveats.
But okay, and it depends on the business. All right, along those lines. All right, let's go next to Brian. Brian, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I was talking to your producer offline.
Yeah.
There was a few years ago when there was a lady. She's in charge of, I believe, the unemployment office. And I don't know if it's for the state of Tennessee. I don't know if it's part of these guys' office. And she ended up firing like 3 guys, and she got charged for racial discrimination. And the guys won their case. And then she really messed up the whole office. And the governor had hired her, and then she ended up quitting in disgrace, and they were also paying unemployment checks to guys like in prison. It was a big goofball thing.
I don't think that was workforce development,
I talked to your producer about that. I'm not sure what's going on with that. It was a few years ago. But number one thing I want to say is I think we should eliminate affirmative action policies now, and I think we've got the Supreme Court coming out with the next judge when Ms. Ginsburg retires pretty soon. And I also think we should eliminate racial quotas. Start with the government positions and then move into the private sector.
Those are legal issues and what Congress will do and the like. Does any of that affirmative action or any of that have any influence on what you guys do?
Well, as you said, that's federal.
Yeah.
We don't determine that.
I mean,
we just execute the laws. Yeah.
In terms of the folks that are most employable in the state right now, I mean, I'm just wondering. There are more and more, sadly to say, seniors I see back out in the workforce where I wish they were retired somewhere fishing. It's just the way. But there are jobs available for them. What is the demographic breakdown of the folks right now that are looking for work, as far as you know? Is it younger, mostly right out of college? We have folks that have been laid off in the middle ground, or are there more seniors out there? I know it's a mix, but is there more of a majority of one or the other?
And Nick, I haven't looked at figures just recently. Have you, Deniece?
I have not. I do know just where we've gone kind of over the course of the last year. We still tend to see the 18 to 24 category.
Like right out of college or some of the high school?
And then the 55 and older group, typically.
Okay.
And oftentimes it's not the necessarily finding employment, it's that it takes longer in some instances. And obviously it's telltale signs for 18 to 24-year-olds, entry level, not really have the experience yet, fresh out of college. And then sometimes at 55 years and older, some folks are looking to get into a different career path, and we have programs within our department that specifically focus on that age group that we have. What
kind of jobs again? I mean, I know where I see them sometimes. What kind of jobs for seniors, maybe even older than 55? It's you think about the Walmart greeters, or I've seen some working in restaurants. What are those basically the types of jobs? Are they looking for part-time jobs?
Well, I think from our perspective, we're saying that whosoever will, if they can work it, that's kind of our vantage point, because I think there's no one of anything anymore. I think it's really a mixed bag. So we're seeing certainly some of the customer support jobs that are not as physically demanding, but we're also seeing some of those individuals still working in advanced manufacturing, working in shifts at some of our automotive manufacturers across the Middle Tennessee. So it really is mixed, and for us, if they meet the qualifications, we're going to make sure we help get them connected regardless of age.
Yeah, and if they need to get more qualifications too, even seniors, if they come into one of these offices that you have set up, can get retraining to some degree?
Absolutely.
Certainly.
Absolutely. And that retraining can be classroom, or we even have on the job, so they can work in offices to, like, for example, we have several that in our local American Job Center, 665 Mainstream, and they're working right alongside our staff, acquiring skills, working with the public, providing some customer service support to get that hands-on skills to really add that to their resume, so it doesn't look like the loss of employment has lingered for so long. They can actually show that volunteer experience as on-the-job training on their resumes, and that's very helpful.
When you talk about resumes too, for some of these folks, maybe if they had been lucky enough to work for a long time, they decided to try, and it's been years since they've applied. I don't even know what a resume looks like now. I mean, is it paper? Is it now? I mean, I know. You know, I remember the old ones. You typed it up, but I mean, now is it online resumes? What? And you guys, I know, help with the really basic stuff, right? Between deciding who to put on there as a reference. Right. But how has that changed? Is it all electronic now? Is that how you're applying for jobs?
The majority is electronic.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
the majority is electronic, and there is no staple anymore for resumes. It's what the employer wants to see. There is a variety of what works. We typically tell individuals a lot of it is based on their employment history. If there's gaps in employment or limited employment experience, we still recommend individuals to really do a composite resume, do more of a functional resume to show diversity of skills and opportunities. But it really is all electronic. They're more abbreviated. No one wants to read 2-3 page. They don't want to read a CV anymore. They want to quick, get to the point, tell me what you can do.
And that's the benefit of Jobs for TN, is that it provides connectivity between the job seeker and the job creator, and provides all type of tools to help individuals in terms of finding employment or training services.
You guys still do job fairs?
We do.
I mean, we will promote them when they happen. I'm trying to remember. I think there was one a couple months ago or something like that. But I mean, you're involved with some of the job fairs at times with the folks?
Yeah, so we, especially and here locally at the location here in Nashville, Tuesday, Thursdays are their premier employer recruiting events.
Oh, really? So Tuesdays and Thursdays you go there and there'll be employers looking
absolutely, and there's many as 15, 17 employers there. And so, it's great to talk to folks about finding a job. It's another thing to have them walk in and the jobs are there for them.
Yeah, meaning that they could come in and potentially walk out with a job right then.
And we have it happen often. It's a wonderful thing to witness.
I was about to say, I bet that's cool. They come in, they're a little nervous, they've been looking for a bit, they're working for the right thing, and they come to one of these fairs and then leave with it. And sometimes you make contacts, which is enough.
Sure.
Right.
But if you actually, someone says, listen, yeah, we'd like to hire you, come in Monday. How cool is that?
It happens. It's wonderful to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's take a call from Tony. Tony, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Nick.
Hey.
Long time no hear.
Good to hear from you, Tony.
I got some special questions for these guests you have, spokesperson for the governor. Now, my stepdaughter got laid off, and her mother had to pay all the house notes and everything. She called in and filed, even went online and filed.
For unemployment?
Right.
And did she get it?
She did not.
Now, why did she lose her job?
She got laid off, downsized.
Oh, just downsized. So why did they say she didn't get unemployment then? That's odd.
That's a demand, and that's a man set aside. You don't want to know why, because we had to pay all her bills. They gave her food stamps. Food stamps don't pay no house note.
Yeah, what could the circumstances be, or would there be potentially, maybe we don't know the full story, why someone could be laid off and maybe not qualify for unemployment?
But if you're laid off for lack of work, then there's really no issue. Yeah,
I would think. Now could she be saying that she was laid off and maybe the employer be telling a different story, and then you guys have to investigate?
That's correct. In other words, somebody files for unemployment.
Okay.
And then, of course, the employer is contacted for their side of the story, and sometimes the stories don't match.
Right.
So I don't know what the circumstances are, but we certainly, if this gentleman wanted to provide us with the phone numbers where his daughter communicated with the department, we can find out exactly what transpired and what happened in terms of interacting with her.
Yeah, is there sometimes, is that what you're referring to, maybe some kind of appeal process to that? If you're denied unemployment and you're not sure why, you think you can?
Right.
All right, and then you look at that.
Right. But she would have had to go through the original process where she stated the facts as she saw them. Then the employer comes back. He has a chance to say agree or say no, this is what really happened. And if an individual is denied, they can certainly appeal it.
Yeah, they can appeal. All right. See, yeah, that's unusual. Someone getting laid off. That's mostly. Are there any other ways? Okay, basically being laid off. is that the main way to get unemployment? I'm trying to think, any other criteria for getting unemployment? I guess layoffs would be it. You lose the job. Aside from layoffs, if a business just closes, which I guess you're laying off, but it's not just that you've been gone and they're still open, but
you
completely.
Would be, you would be eligible for the business closed.
Yes.
But if you, really, there's, broadly speaking, you're either laid off for lack of work, which qualifies you, or you're dismissed for cause. Broadly speaking, those are the two.
Okay, and then the idea is you have the 26 weeks, hopefully, with unemployment, and the idea is that in that 26 weeks, that is bridging you until you can find another job. And maybe it just helps pay whatever basic bills you can to keep your head above water.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And while you're on unemployment, you have to certify each week, which is shows us that you are doing at least 3 job searches every week, which is required by law.
Is it safe to say, though, right now, fewer people on unemployment? Does that correlate with the fact that unemployment rate is down, that there's fewer people on it than before?
No. If you go back and you look at the unemployment rate and the number of people on unemployment benefits, as far back as 2007, but let's just say since 2010. In the first quarter of the calendar year of 2010, there were over 100,000 people on unemployment benefits.
Okay.
But that has continually dropped, and it dropped quite rapidly that year. And it basically, unemployment, the number of people on unemployment benefits is between 17 and 24,000, regardless of the unemployment rate.
Okay, is that because people moving into the state? Because to me, it just makes sense. If more people are getting jobs, they're going to be coming off unemployment. So how does this skew? I'm just curious. I know you told me that, but why doesn't it change?
Because the unemployment rate, first of all, it's an estimate that comes from a survey by the U.S. government.
So, whereas the other ones are hard numbers.
But also, too, you just take the month of June. We had a workforce over 3,100,000 people. Okay. So only about 114,000 were unemployed. But only about 20,000 of those are on unemployment benefits.
I see.
Because there are a lot of reasons you can't be. Maybe you've run your 26 weeks. You weren't able and available for work. There's just a lot of reasons why you wouldn't be on unemployment benefits. So there's not a direct correlation between that unemployment rate and the number of people on unemployment benefits.
I've got you. All right, listen, I want to take a break. When we come back, we may take a few more phone calls, but I want you to think, and so we can tell folks, is there a portion of the state that is more active for jobs right now? I mean, if you want to go and look, and some people are willing to move to go for the job if, as you say, you find a job that you really like. That's right. That's the key on that. And we'll talk more just about the types of jobs out there. You may have one, which is great, but maybe you're thinking of changing and what some of the options are out there and how to go about doing that, maybe while you're still holding an existing job. So we'll take a break. When we come back, if you want to join us too, the number 737-7587. More calls right after this.